A killer heat wave that just won't quit. As the heat hangs in, the death toll rises, and a drought turns farm soil to dust. Arraignment today for a man suspected of 4 murders in Yosemite National Park. And a CBS News investigation, the fear that's driving veteran pilots to quit the U.S. military.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm John Roberts. Almost half of these United States are covered tonight by a blanket of heat. Radiating from the Kansas prairies eastward, temperatures today soared well above 90 again today. At least 16 deaths are blamed on the smothering heat and humidity, and a drought in the rainless mid-Atlantic region, already severe in 6 states, only worsened today. Correspondent Jim Axelrod is on the CBS Weather Watch with the latest on the heat wave of 99.
In Chicago, firefighters have turned their hoses on themselves. For a week, the heat index has pushed into the hundreds.
Because it's super hot. Muy caliente.
The city is keeping beaches open extra hours. A dip in the dark on Lakeshore Drive has been about the best way to keep cool. But not everyone's found a way. 4 are known dead from the heat here.
In addition to the 4, we have another 7 possible.
In Chicago, where 700 people died in a heat wave 4 years ago, and bodies were stacked up in refrigerated trucks, killer heat is a deadly serious topic.
The emergency workers, whether it be the firemen, the ambulance drivers, or the policemen, I mean, everyone is thinking about it because we had such deadly results 4 years ago.
Watch his head.
Much of the Midwest is baking. 7 are known dead in Cincinnati. There, too, it's the elderly and the poor who are hit hardest. Help is in the hydrants.
It's hot. Keeping them cool out here.
St. Louis is suffering, and 5 are dead. Minnesota's tying 58-year-old records. And everywhere, people are panting for a break.
It's pretty hot. This is pretty hot.
Showers lowered the temperatures here in Chicago today, but forecasters expect a hotter and more expansive furnace to kick back in later this week. Only the far west and northern reaches of New England, they say, will be spared. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Chicago.
Feasting on the bone-dry vegetation, wildfires are raging throughout the West. The fires are burning through forest and brush in California, Montana, Utah, and Nevada. In California's San Bernardino County, firefighters hope to contain a 2,800-acre fire in the high mountain desert near Cajon Pass. Across the middle Atlantic states and beyond, drought has set in for the summer. Farmers are watching their livelihoods wither away, as CBS's Jeffrey Kaufman reports.
It's been so hot and so dry in New Jersey that crops are burning in the fields.
On a normal year, these 3 peppers would have brought me $1.50. As of today, they're not going to bring me anything.
Peter Demarest hasn't seen a real rainfall for 2 months.
I think probably the beach down the shore has damper soil than this.
Water from town is the only reason Demarest has any crops still standing.
A drought is a disaster in slow motion. This one's been building for a year, beginning with the dry summer of '98, followed by a mild winter, and in the last 90 days, less than half the normal rainfall.
The drought of '99 is coloring New Jersey brown as reservoirs dry up. In Baltimore, they're rationing water, and Pennsylvania's governor has declared a drought emergency in 55 of the state's 67 counties.
If we don't begin to conserve water today, there won't be any water to conserve tomorrow.
The National Weather Service says it's already a severe drought in 8 states, but it's bone dry from the mid-Atlantic states through the Ohio Valley and the Northeast.
We think there's a very good chance it could last well into fall.
For consumers, there's a silver lining in all this. The hot sun means produce that does make it to market will be sweeter than ever.
You're going to get tastier peppers, you're going to get tastier tomatoes, tastier corn.
But that is bittersweet for farmers like Peter Demarest. His peaches are half the size of last year's, which means he'll get less for them as he watches his profits dry up. Jeffrey Kaufman, CBS News, Hillsdale, New Jersey.
After days of mourning in private, the Kennedy family went public today with thanks and appreciation. Visiting a senior citizen center, Congressman Patrick Kennedy thanked Americans for what he called overwhelming expressions of sympathy over his cousin John's death in a plane crash. Patrick Kennedy said the reaction made, quote, an enormous difference in his family's ability to cope with their loss. Meanwhile, federal investigators have had a look at the recovered wreckage of the Kennedy plane. Let's go now to our CBS News aviation correspondent Bob Orr in Washington. Bob, what's the latest?
Well, John, investigators spent a good part of the weekend examining the wreckage of the Kennedy airplane, and sources tonight say they found no obvious problems with the aircraft itself. The wreckage, shrouded by blue tarps, was trucked to an Air National Guard base on Cape Cod and then laid out in a very rough reconstruction, basically on the hangar floor. Investigators say they checked the engine and the propeller, also the cockpit instruments and the plane's fuselage, and found no evidence of any structural or mechanical failure. And the debris, we're told, showed no signs of an in-flight fire. Now, a senior investigator says they see no pre-impact faults at all. Nothing, he says, to suggest any airplane failure. While some of the wreckage will obviously be more carefully checked in a lab, the investigation now will focus on the pilot, John F. Kennedy Jr., his training and his flight history. John?
Bob Orr in Washington, thanks. A motel handyman was charged with first-degree murder today in the gruesome killing of a naturalist in Yosemite National Park. The suspect is no stranger to the FBI. It turns out he'd been questioned before about this and 3 other murders, but released for lack of evidence. Now, as John Blackstone reports, investigators think they may have their man.
With one arrest, FBI agents said they'd solved 4 murders near Yosemite National Park. They identified 37-year-old Cary Stayner as their prime suspect. When Stayner appeared for arraignment today, court documents revealed he'd already confessed to one vicious killing, that of 26-year-old Joey Armstrong, who was beheaded and found just inside Yosemite last week. It should have been a triumph for investigators, but instead they were left wondering whether their mistakes cost Joey Armstrong her life.
I've asked myself whether we could have done anything differently that might have prevented the murder of Joey Armstrong. I've struggled with that issue for the last 24 hours and continue to do so.
In February, Yosemite visitors were shaken by the abduction and murder of 3 tourists, Carol Sund, her daughter Julie, and a family friend, Silvina Peloso. But investigators soon announced that suspects were already in custody on other charges.
I think there's a PR motive to that. I mean, I think they're trying to allay any concerns that the citizens have that there's other people out there committing these murders.
But those assurances turned out to be tragically wrong. Joey Armstrong lived just 4 miles from the motel where suspect Cary Stayner lived and worked, the same motel where the 3 tourists were last seen alive.
If there are lessons to be learned or mistakes made, we will identify those.
The reason for the FBI soul searching, says retired agent Rick Smith, is likely to be in evidence not yet revealed.
It will indicate that an arrest could not have taken place until it did, unfortunately.
And only after Joey Armstrong fell victim to the killer investigators missed. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, why veteran pilots are bailing out of the U.S. military. Prospective new homebuyers may have a long wait ahead of them. And if the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, call the police.
It's surprising who's drinking Ensure. Healthy people. Staying healthy means eating right. But when you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure's a source of complete balanced nutrition. Helps you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health. And now there's Ensure High Calcium, with calcium and other key nutrients to help build strong bones.
Next time, call a Roto-Rooter plumber. When we make an appointment, we keep it.
Announcing a new way to see, near and far. The new AccuView bifocal contact lens with pupil intelligent design. Call 1-800-531-2121 for a free trial pair or visit your eye care professional.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock. What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
Once again today, U.S. military aircraft were in action over Iraq. Air Force fighters dropped laser-guided bombs on an Iraqi communications site in the northern no-fly zone. Air power may be the dominant weapon in the U.S. arsenal, but combat pilots could soon be in short supply. An investigation by CBS's Vince Gonzalez finds there's a growing exodus of pilots from the U.S. military because of a controversial vaccine.
An investigation by CBS News has found combat pilots in the Air Force Reserve and Air Guard are quitting rather than take anthrax shots. The departure of veteran pilots, many with experience in Kosovo and the Gulf War, is creating huge holes in some military air units. CBS News spoke with over 100 pilots concerned about the vaccine.
We're leaving the service of our country over fear of a shot, and it just doesn't seem fair.
The shots are required for all military personnel, despite doubts raised by government researchers that the vaccinations will guard against the deadly anthrax virus in wartime. But it's fear of bad reactions to the vaccine itself that is leading many pilots to end long careers.
It was difficult.
Randy Pizik, a United Airlines pilot, quit flying for the military's Air Guard rather than take the anthrax shot.
I cleaned out my locker, stripped my name off my mailbox, and packed up and left.
Key units across the country stand to lose up to half of their pilots. At these bases, a total of more than 100 reserve pilots quit this year. Major Ramona Savoy is one of them.
The squadron is unable right now to do its peacetime and its wartime mission, and this directly impacts the nation's readiness.
Pentagon officials say the vaccine is safe, pure, and effective, and insist the vaccination program is going smoothly.
Generally speaking, this is not a significant issue. It has not had any effect upon readiness at this juncture.
But military memos obtained by CBS News tell a different story. One squadron commander writes, due to the controversy regarding the shots, compliance has been very low. Another acknowledges we are losing a lot of experience. Most experienced Guard and Reserve pilots fly passenger jets as their main job. Pilots like Mike Angerol of Southwest Airlines are quitting the military rather than risk vaccine side effects that could endanger their passengers.
Would you want your pilot to have any problem with remembering and tremors, seizures? And this is all stuff that's attributed to the vaccine.
So far, the Pentagon is refusing pilot requests to make the shots voluntary. In a letter to the Army Times, Defense Secretary William Cohen writes, just as soldiers must wear helmets, commanders must know that all their troops are vaccinated against anthrax.
I'm more than willing to lay my life down for my nation. Is that not enough?
Not for the Pentagon, apparently, which says no matter how many pilots quit, the vaccinations will continue. Vince Gonzalez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Shuttle Columbia astronauts are preparing to come home late tomorrow night, and NASA insists the return will not be affected by problems with the launch. Shortly after liftoff on Friday, there was an electrical short circuit and a possible serious leak of hydrogen fuel. Had the leak been much worse, the shuttle might have been forced to abort and make an unprecedented emergency landing either in Florida or Western Africa. Coming up on the CBS Evening News, communism versus meditation, the sect that set off a crackdown by China.
You can buy a Gateway Essential PC for $999, or you can buy a PC from a bargain basement company for $499. Then add a monitor, lots of software, 24/7 tech support, a year on the internet, and end up paying over $1,200. With Gateway, you'll get all that, and you still end up paying $999. Which one's the real bargain? Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor.
There's nutrition news about heart disease. The B vitamin folic acid may help reduce homocysteine levels in the blood, an emerging risk factor for heart disease. And Centrum Silver has folic acid.
Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Look at all these laxatives. They all contain stimulants. That one says it may cause cramps. Only Philips is stimulant-free. Nothing's more effective, nothing's safer.
So I've heard.
Philips. Safe, effective relief without harsh stimulants. When was the last time you drove just for the fun of it? Why doesn't somebody bring that back? Meet the new Chevy Impala. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
Nobody does it like you.
He'll do a lot of his growing up down here, on the carpet. That's why deep down, you want Hoover. Powerful wind tunnel technology reaches deep down to loosen, lift, grab, and trap hidden dirt. It's a fact. Wind tunnel by Hoover picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright. And now there's a canister with wind tunnel technology.
Hoover.
If you want clean, deep down, you want Hoover.
The Chinese government is trying to eliminate the banned Falun Gong meditation sect from within its own ranks. Human rights groups say more than 1,000 government officials have been detained and forced to renounce the group. In Washington, the crackdown has now caught the attention of the U.S. government. CBS's Cheryl Atkinson reports.
American followers of Falun Gong rushed to Capitol Hill today. They're lobbying Congress to intervene in China's massive crackdown on the spiritual group Chinese officials have labeled an evil cult. Last week, China outlawed Falun Gong, arresting leaders and herding practitioners by the thousands into stadiums. A senior U.S. official tells CBS News China's aggressive stance against a peaceful group with no apparent political motive is huge, incredibly important, and shows how far China will go when confronted with a large movement outside of the Communist Party. Publicly, U.S. officials are less vehement, but today said China has been put on notice.
Well, we obviously believe that people in China and elsewhere should have the right of assembly and the right of freedom of expression.
But the truth is, U.S. officials just don't know much about Falun Gong, even as 100 million Chinese and a growing number of Americans are said to be followers. It's a mysterious mix of martial arts, moral teachings, and meditation to achieve a healthy body and soul. Its popularity has exploded largely in the absence of founder Li Hongzhi, who left China under government pressure last year and now lives in New York. In his first network interview, Li told CBS News, people with a healthy body and high morality are good to society and good for the government. I feel puzzled why the government is so upset about it. Maybe because so many are turning to Falun Gong instead of the Communist Party for guidance. The conflict may be the biggest internal threat to China since Tiananmen Square a decade ago. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
An update now on our Eye on America series last week about the controversy over genetically altered food. Dozens of protesters were arrested in England today for destroying a government-planted field of genetically modified corn due to be harvested next week. Unlike the United States, Britain has not approved any crops whose genes have been altered. Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, would-be home buyers have a run-in with the law of supply and demand.
Lively conversation every morning. Wrestling Sunday afternoons. Free boost right now. Just call 1-800-225-5192 for a free can of Vanilla Boost drink. Find out why more people prefer the taste of Vanilla Boost over the leading nutritional drink. Call 1-800-225-5192 right now. And make Boost a nutritional part of your complete life.
Gee, that oatmeal was little.
Yeah.
Done with those sausages? You done with them hash browns?
Sure.
You need some help with that bacon? How did I get heartburn? All I had was oatmeal. Got any Mylanta?
Are you kidding? Aluminum and magnesium? You want Tums. Tums has calcium.
Tums calcium knocks out heartburn fast, then goes to your bones to help keep them stronger, longer.
How about a bag of donuts for the road?
How about a bottle of Tums?
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
When you were a kid, did you carry a lunchbox? Who was on it? Was it Sir Isaac Newton? Was it Abraham Lincoln? Or was it the A-Team? Introducing the new, redesigned 2000 Mitsubishi Montero Sport. We pity the fool. Would drive anything else.
On the CBS Market Watch, the rising price of gasoline. An Energy Department survey finds the nationwide average price of gasoline tonight is $1.19 a gallon. That's the highest in nearly 2 years. On Wall Street, stock prices closed lower again. Investors are said to be concerned that interest rates are heading up. Home buyers share that concern. America's realtors say a rush to lock in low rates pushed used home sales in June to a record high. As for new homes, CBS's Maureen Maher reports the construction industry can't build them fast enough to keep up with demand.
We thought the latest would be March of this year.
Brenda Harbison was actually supposed to be in her new home last Christmas. 7 months later, workers are still scraping away.
It is frustrating. Like I said, everything we own is in storage. My child is sleeping on the floor. I could have made different arrangements, done different things.
She isn't alone. The construction industry has run into a brick wall. With last year's record number of new home buyers, building materials and labor are now in critically short supply, putting new homes 60 to 90 days behind schedule across the country.
How bad is it?
This is extremely bad. We're running anywhere from 100 houses behind on sheetrock.
The national shortage of building supplies, especially drywall, even has contractors pushing carts with the do-it-yourselfers, forcing most of the big retail stores to ration inventory.
It might have been supplies, or it might have been somewhat of a labor crunch, but we have never really experienced both of these at the same time.
Another reason for the shortage, last spring, killer tornadoes swept through Oklahoma. Soon after, construction workers from around the country abandoned developments, taking their skills and supplies to a more profitable project. Insurance companies are paying workers top dollar to rebuild some 8,000 homes as the delays and costs continue to mount elsewhere. While Brenda has been waiting for workers, mortgage rates have gone up. She'll now be paying another $200 a month for the next 30 years.
And when you finally get in?
I'll be so happy.
Happy, but paying a price for the rising cost of the American dream. Maureen Maher, CBS News, Dallas.
3 days of music, peace, and love ended with arson and rioting early today at Woodstock 99. Hundreds of young people went on a rampage at the close of the rock festival in Rome, New York, setting fires and looting trucks. State police moved in and arrested 7 people. 5 participants were injured in the melee, along with 2 police. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, a heat wave leads to a crime wave, and our Bill Geist is on the case.
Nancy will have to see from near to far almost 1,000 times today. Her eyes will focus on 40 labels, 60 charts, and 100 smiles. And in all that time, she'll never once think about the science that allows her to focus instantly at all distances. Nancy just knows that her Verilux lenses help her see better. And for her, that's a very comforting thought. Verilux, the comfort of better vision. For more information, call toll-free 1-800-VERILUX.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas-X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas-X, the power to fight gas fast.
Need fast-itch relief from insect bites and poison ivy? Try new Cortisone 10 Quick Shot Spray. Nothing goes on faster, and among these, it's the only one with the medicine doctors recommend most. Try Cortisone 10 Quick Shot Spray. What are you itching for?
Feeling down? Overwhelmed? Now, to help you lift your spirits and look on the bright side naturally, there's Quanterra Emotional Balance. I used to think all St. John's words were alike, but they're not. The extract in Quanterra was clinically proven effective by doctors. And research suggests it regulates neurotransmitters affecting emotional wellness. New Quanterra Emotional Balance. There is light at the end of the tunnel. If it's not clinically proven, it's not Quanterra.
So, how you doing?
Oh, miserable.
What?
Breakfast time, we sit around while folks pop something sweet from the toaster.
Oh, yeah.
What's not to love? Real eggs.
Hey, bacon.
And cheese. Say, what if somebody wrapped us up in a pastry crust and popped us up?
Pillsbury Toaster Scrambles. Real eggs, smoky bacon, creamy cheese in a flaky pastry crust right in your grocer's freezer. Mmm. Pillsbury Toaster Scrambles.
Look out, sweet stuff.
A rare glimpse today of a fast-growing prince. Britain's Prince William took a spin around the driveway of his father's country estate today. William is 17 and hopes to get his driver's license this summer. Prince Charles and his two sons, William and Harry, posed for pictures in hopes that the press will now leave them alone for the rest of their summer vacation. Earlier tonight, we told you about the drought in the eastern United States. In some places, it's so bad, authorities have imposed tough restrictions on water use. But enforcement is no easy task. Bill Geist reports on the effort to preserve law and water.
The lush green suburban lawn is under siege in much of the country.
Grounds are all burning up.
Withering in record heat and drought. Now, suburban Boston finds itself in the grip of a crime wave. I speak, of course, of illegal lawn watering. Here in the town of Rockland, sprinklers are banned. Residents are restricted to just 1 hour of watering by hand every other day on alternating sides of the street, which means that one of these two normal-looking women is really an outlaw. She is hardly alone.
The flowers are thirsty. I think I'm going to sneak out and water them.
And these indicate problem areas?
Problem areas, right.
Town manager Dan Callahan is the Norman Schwarzkopf of Rockland's war on these water abusers.
We got something right now. It might be a call.
We might have a call coming in. Calls come in from anonymous tipsters as neighbor turns against neighbor. No bounties are offered yet.
We'll find out if it's on now. The reports we've had have been frustration. I've got a nice lawn here, and I'm watching it wilt away, and my neighbor's lawn is green and gorgeous.
Bill Royal, meter reader turned lawn cop,
we try to catch people using sprinklers.
Answers the call of a watering in progress.
So let you know that we have a water ban in effect.
Okay.
Busted. This time the perpetrator is a housewife. Repeat offenders will have all water to their homes completely shut off. A tough scorched earth policy. Another call comes in.
Let's roll.
The suspect's sprinkling system is off, but the lawn has a guilty look.
Yeah, it looks like they've been watering a lot, yep.
1 minute it's a corporate office.
How you doing?
The next, a kiddie pool. Water abusers start young in Rockland, and they never rest. Fortunately, neither does water enforcement officer Bill Royal.
You can hear them pretty good, sprinklers. You can't see them.
Bill Geist, CBS News, Rockland, Massachusetts.
And that's the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather will be along later on tonight with a 48 Hours Monday mystery. Richard Schlesinger has a preview.
Convicted of killing 3 teenagers, he was sentenced to die.
But this is monster. This is not human.
So why was he set free to kill again?
It's time to put this man back where he belongs.
A 48 Hours mystery tonight.
For Dan Rather, I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, a high school lover's trial.